As you can see, all my colours are stuck onto a card backing, and I'd like you to leave them on the card backing whilst you stitch. And all you need to do to find the longer thread that you're looking for is to give your set of wools a very soft shake like that, and then you'll see a short end and a long end. Do not pull the short end. If you do, you'll find that the end of the skein is the wrapped wool here, will nod like that. And if you do that, you'll make a complete mess of your wool and you'll have to take it out and you won't know the colour that it is for later on. So just keep it on the skein, hold the wool by the paper like that and find the longer thread. And sometimes you just put your finger between the skeins and that'll just tease it out. Here it is. This is my lovely long thread, and I always say it's about the size of a mouse's tail. Now I'm just going to pull that gently whilst I hold the skein wrapper, and that's going to come out to my elbow and then fold it again to make a double thread. So this is the length for a double thread. Then I would leave my mouse's tail, just snip that off, and that's ready for the next time I'm going to use it. If you want to use a single thread, and I'll go to a brand new set of wools in a different colour so you can see this really works, then again you're looking for the longer thread and you just measure from your fingertips to your elbow and just cut it off there. And that measurement is called your cubit, and it's a very important measurement because it's your own natural stitching length. Look for your needles at the end of the pack, and they're in a little cellophane packet. The gold one is for a single thread, and if you have double thread in your design, the silver one is for the double thread because it's bigger. So I'm now going to thread my single thread here. Now when you pull it out from the skein, I'll do it again with this one, when you take it out, if you feel the end, the very last inch of your wool, you'll feel that it runs better one way than the other. Now, I use my second finger on my left hand. I'm right-handed, so that's a more sensitive feeling than the digits you use more often. So just feel it running one way and then the other. No need to go all the way down the wool. You'll just feel it naturally. Don't grip too hard, just stroke it like you would a cat. And you'll see, just like a cat, the fur will run one way. Now, on Appleton's wools, the fur runs this way. I would always put a knot at the end of your wool. So this is the knotted end. Then I measure it out to my elbow, take the single thread like that, and now I'm going to thread it. So fold the last 2 inches over this little return. Doesn't need to be too long, and then pinch it down and pinch it between your fat part of your thumb and your first finger. Whip the needle out, push the needle down over the wool without opening your finger and thumb. If you squeeze your finger and thumb together, that keeps the wool flat and thin, so it's easy to take your needle down. So you take it all the way down to where you want to go, and I just keep this little return of about 2 inches, and there you are. The thread is ready in a single thread with a knot at the end. Now we're going to thread using a double thread in wool. Take the end of the longer thread that sticks out of the skein and just pull gently, all the time keeping your finger on the paper. Take it to the elbow, fold it again, and then snip off, leaving a length of about a mouse's tail behind. If you snip it off too near the skein, you'll find that you can't find the end again. Then I'm going to take the silver coloured needle. You'll find your needles at the end of the wools here. And you put your needle through the loop that you've created at the end of your wool. Pull that tightly. Now I find if I bounce that wool, not only are you learning about the quality of the thread, but you're actually straightening the fibres so that you have 2 perfectly relaxed pieces of wool hanging down and your thread will not twist as much. Now I'm going to take my finger and my thumb and squeeze it over that turn, the fold in the wool. Squeeze very hard, whip your needle out and then put the flat head of the needle down over the wool. Now that will magically thread the needle without you having to look at it or open the needle. And look here, it's worked again. Take it all the way through and then hang the loop at the far end. Now I'm going to use that loop to cast on for the first stitch. To cast on with the double thread, take your folded, looped and threaded wool and push your needle down into the linen and leave the loop on the top. Come back up a couple of threads away and catch that loop and pull it hard, then pull your wool away from the area you've just come up and take your needle down through the hole, and you'll hear a little pop and then you're ready to stitch. To cast on with a single thread, make a little knot at the end of your thread. Then take your needle down from the top and leave that knot on the top of your work. Now, I like to cast on where you're going to cover it later. I don't like to leave a waste knot at the edge of my work because that's just a total waste of thread. So leave your waste knot on the top there and then make 3 little stitches, just single satin stitches. We call these seeding stitches. They're used as a proper stitch, but they're also very useful for casting on. Make your 3 little stitches and then up to 1 inch away you can start your stitching. Now, when your stitching is finished, then you cast off with a couple of small seeding stitches again. So just 2 stitches and then out the top, and then you snip off the end of that thread and you snip off the knot and you just leave those in to be covered later.